Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life, and today I've got a bit of a confession to make. I don't drink enough water all the time. It's been one of the things that I've really struggled with over the years. It's not always been top of my health. I'm pretty good at knowing what to eat. I'm not always 100%, but I know what is nourishing, what nutrients to focus on. And I've always just assumed that I'm drinking enough water. It's not a particularly sexy topic to talk about. It's not very advanced. It's pretty basic, right? But I often forget the very basics, and I think a lot of us women and men do as well. I forget to drink enough water, and I do it a lot, and it's a constant challenge. But I'm realizing as I get older how much this actually affects me. It's never really affected me in the past. And I see it in our clients as well. It seems so flipping obvious that sometimes we forget even to talk about it. We know we should drink more water, but are we actually doing it? And with this hot weather recently, it's really been top of mind for me, and I've really noticed the effects of not drinking enough. I recently read a really interesting book called Your Body's Many Cries for Water by, I don't know quite how to pronounce this, but I'm going to have a go, Dr. Batmangelij. And it really opened my eyes to the effects of dehydration that we're potentially not aware of. So his theory is that the body manifests dehydration in the forms of signs and symptoms that indicate a water shortage. And he believes that this is at the root of most chronic health problems and day-to-day symptoms as well. He talks about brain fog and fatigue. So what are the health benefits of water and hydration? Obviously, it helps us detoxify waste and toxins. It supports our brain function and our mood. It helps the heart pump oxygen around the body. It helps your kidneys function properly. It supports your digestive system and regular bowel movements. We all know that, when we don't drink enough, we can get constipated. It lubricates your skin, your joints, and your internal vessels. It allows your cells to repair. It helps blood cells carry oxygen and nutrients around the body. And it helps curb cravings and hunger. That's a really important one. So what are the signs and symptoms that you're not fully hydrated? Well, the body, every cell in the body needs water to do its job properly. So these are some common signs of dehydration to look out for. Fatigue, headaches, dry mouth, dry eyes, and dry skin, extra wrinkles. Constipation, as I mentioned, infrequent urination, so you're just not going to the loo that often. Heart palpitations, you knew. Brain fog and memory loss, because your brain isn't getting the raw materials it needs to function properly. Mood swings, anxiety, depression. Muscle cramps. If you get cramp, I often get cramp in my foot, and it's always when I've maybe had a couple too many drinks, or I just haven't drunk enough water that day. Confusion, dizziness as well, shortness of breath, and pain can be a manifestation of this dehydrated tissue. And then there are some diseases that this doctor thinks that are caused or triggered by dehydration, including allergies and hypertension and diabetes and immune conditions. So it's really, really important stuff, and something that we just can't just assume that everybody's getting enough water. So one thing to look out for is the colour of your urine. So you'll notice first thing in the morning it's pretty dark, it's usually orange, and then as you go through the day it gets lighter and lighter, and what you should be aiming for is that yellow pale straw-like colour, or the palest possible, to show that you're fully hydrated. How much do you need to get to that stage? First thing is not to wait until you get thirsty. This is a common mistake. We lose our thirst perception from the ages, roughly from the age of 20 onwards. So throughout adulthood we get less and less adept at knowing when we're thirsty. And by 70 we can lose it altogether and not even realise we need to drink. They did some really interesting studies with elderly people, leaving a glass of water next to them for over 24 hours, and many of them didn't even want it, whereas the younger participants realised they were thirsty and drank it. I can go all day long without drinking any water and feel fine, and then obviously the next day I'm going to be groggy, moody, not very nice to be around. So it's a bit like waiting to fill up your car with petrol until the tank's completely empty. You wouldn't do that. You want to fill it up and keep it rolling. So 2 litres is the kind of minimum. It's the amount that gets bandied around. It's a good thing to aim for. It's kind of the amount we lose every day in breathing and sweating and producing urine. So you're going to need more than that if the weather's really hot, if you're sweating more than normal, like hot flushes and night sweats, you're going to need more than 2 litres. And if you're exercising as well and you're losing more water. So tips to stay hydrated. These are some handy tips to make sure you're drinking enough water. Get yourself one of these, a BPA-free bottle. Every one of these carries up around a litre, so I know I've got to drink 2 of these every day to make sure I'm getting my 2 litres and more if I'm exercising. So that is my kind of measure to know that I'm drinking enough. So tea and coffee are on top of that, and if I'm drinking more than 2 cups of coffee, then I'll probably need some more water on top of that. A good idea is to drink a large glass of water first thing in the morning when you wake up. So because you're most dehydrated when you wake up in the morning, so if you drink a large glass, you'll get yourself back to normal and you've already got your first glass done. And it's kind of like a habit thing. Fill a 2 litre bottle of water up in the morning. Make sure you drink it all by bedtime. So mine's going to be 2 of these. You might have one of those big 2 litre bottles that you can do and then just keep pouring it out. Drink before, during and after a workout. You can get apps now or notifications on your desk or your computer or your phone to remind you to drink every hour. That's always a good one. And if you coincide that with a break from work, so you're standing as well or doing some walking about, then go to the kitchen, get yourself some water, come back, you've done your break and you've done your water here as well. You can try adding electrolytes or a little bit of salt to your water for a quick hydration fix. Really good if you know you're dehydrated, if you've had a drink the night before and you're waking up in the morning with dehydration, then a few electrolytes to your drink will really help with that. You can add flavour if you don't like plain water, like slices of, not sugar obviously, slices of cucumber, mint leaves, berries you can plop in, frozen berries I like to put in sometimes. Be careful of too much lemon and lime juice because that can kind of damage the enamel on your teeth, but the odd bit is fine. Limit alcohol, and if you're drinking, match each drink with a glass of water, and then drink more water before you go to bed to stop yourself getting dehydrated overnight. Caffeine as well is a diuretic, so tea and coffee, which can be dehydrating, so just watch how much you're drinking of that and make sure you're drinking more water to compensate. And then plenty of fruit and veg. Food contains water too, and these add to your water intake as well, so fruit and veg are really good for that. And then when you feel hungry and you feel like you want a snack, it actually might be your body telling you you're thirsty instead, because we do get mixed messages. So a large glass of water can sometimes do the job and help you manage your weight because you're not then constantly snacking. So there was a study that found that a glass of water stopped hunger pangs for almost 100% of the participants going through that study. So just try that next time you think you're hungry and you want to go for a snack. So with all our medical advances, sometimes it's the basic things that we need to remember and to prioritise. So I just wanted to remind you today to make sure you're drinking your water because it does help with everything. Hope that was useful. See you soon.